Hey guys, welcome to another video, and in this video we're gonna test out some microphones. Let's go. So what are we going to do in this video? We're going to record some drums with these microphones, acoustic guitar and vocals, and then we're gonna compare the microphones and have some fun with it. But before we go into that, let's see what we have over here. Eric, the distributor of these microphones, was kind enough to bring over these microphones and give me some time to play around with them. Let's start with the first box over here. Over here we have the Milab DC-196. Let's see if the camera will get this right. And these microphones have different polar patterns. We have an omnidirectional, a cardioid and figure 8. And there's like a pad switch on it. You can put it on -12. And what I really like about this, it comes with this rubber microphone clamp. You have to put it in like this. And then it's like a shock-free microphone clamp. Really nice. And let's move over to the second box. And over here we have the VIP-60 from Milab, which is this beauty. And as you can see, there are a lot of bells and whistles on it. You have like 5 different polar patterns you can choose of. Omnidirectional wide cardioid. You don't see that a lot of microphones. The normal cardioid, of course, hyper cardioid and figure 8. And you also have the option to roll off till 500 Hertz, 200 Hertz, and also you can put it on flat, of course. And then you have a pad switch, which you can put on -10 and -20 dB. And then we have another box. And in this box we have a kick mic. This is the Milab BDM-01. And all these mics, by the way, are condenser mics. Really curious about this one, how this will sound in a kick drum. So we're going to use that as a kick-in mic. Let's move over to the fourth box. And in this box we have another stereo pair, which are the VM-44s, pencil mics. These are just cardioid microphones. And there's also a nice stereo bar. I'm not sure if this is included in the set. Then we'll move over to the last box. And I'm really looking forward to work with this one, because this is an MS microphone and you can use it for mid-side technique. And this is the MS8CL from Pearl. As you can see, you have like a figure 8 microphone and a cardioid microphone in one microphone. So what you do, you put in this cable, of course, but this is a 5-pin cable. It splits into 2 XLRs. After recording it in a DAW, you have to duplicate the bidirectional channel, which is the figure 8 for the ones who doesn't know what bidirectional is. And then you have to pan one channel hard left, the other channel hard right, and put one channel out of phase. And then you create that stereo image, which you blend with the cardioid recording. Really looking forward to put this on drum room mics to record acoustic guitar with it. So now we've covered all these microphones. Let's record some stuff and listen to all the microphones and have some fun. Okay, I recorded some drums, acoustic guitars, and I did a vocal session with Sila where I used the Milab mics, which was a lot of fun. But before we go into this Pro Tools session, I have something for you guys, because now you can buy a Milab or a Pearl mic with 10% discount if you go to this link, and I will put that link down below so you can click on it, or if you scan this QR code, which will bring you to the same link. So if you like one of these mics, go to this link and get your discount. Now let's move over to the Pro Tools session. I recorded drums with the DC-196s as overheads, the VM-44s as overheads, and the VIP-60 as room mic, and also the Pearl MS mic, MS8CL as room mic. What I also did, I thought maybe it's nice to have, and maybe I will use it in this video. I recorded drums with my own mics that I use a lot. So I used the D112 as kick mic, and also a Sennheiser 602, if I'm right, as kick mic. And I used the NT5s as overheads, and also electro voices, which is a vintage mic, the electro voice omnidirectional mic. It's originally not an overhead mic, but I use them a lot as overheads because they have an attitude. It's really nice. I just recorded it in case we want to compare that with the Milab mics. And I have also recorded my room mic. So in this case, I've used a blue bottle mic and stereo room mic with two NT1As from Rode. I've picked the NT5s as overheads and the NT1As as room mics because these two mics are microphones that a lot of producers know. So we're going to compare that. So let's start with the DC196 as overheads. So let's start with the omnidirectional recording, and I will mute the overheads while I play back the audio so you can hear what it adds to the whole drum mix. So the first thing that I noticed while listening back to this recording is that there's a lot of detail coming from this microphone, especially if I go to the right cymbal. The high end over there and the high mids are really detailed. And what I also like is the balance, the overall balance of this microphone if it comes to frequencies, but also if it comes to all the elements, the hi-hat, the snare, the toms. Sometimes you have recordings and microphones that are really focused on one thing. So there's like a hi-hat poking out or a snare drum. And this microphone sounds really balanced. Let's compare the omnidirectional recording with the cardioid recording. So I will start with the omnidirectional and then I will switch to the cardioid. Of course, less reflections if it comes to the cardioid recording because omnidirectional is picking up everything around the microphone. Also reflections from the ceiling and the walls. But again, really detailed, and it's a transparent microphone. So to me it's an all-rounder, but it feels high-end. A really nice microphone. I think this is a microphone. If you have that, you can do everything with it. So if you're gonna record strings, acoustic guitar, drums, whatever, vocals also, this is a really good choice, I think. If it comes to the cardioid, of course, there's a different balance in frequencies. That's the difference between omni and cardioid. It's more focused. It's nice to have these two options on the microphone. So you have two totally different microphones and it gives everything you need. Let's compare the cardioid with the NT5 because that's also a cardioid. So this is the Milab again, the DC196. And let's move over to the NT5. Okay, to be clear, the NT5 is a mid-class microphone and the Milab is in a higher price range. There are more pushed mids in the NT5s and the Milab is more balanced in the overall audio image. Let's move over to the M44s, also a cardioid microphone, and let's have a listen. Let's put it on solo. The high end is really hyped in compare with the Milabs. The mids are more pushed. Let's move over to the 196 and then on the cardioid. Yeah, the M44s are more aggressive in the mids, more attitude, more punch. The high end in the M44 is way more hyped. I think this is a microphone, you like it or not. Let's compare this also with the NT5s. Let's see what the differences are. NT5s. So now I hear the difference between NT5s and the M44s. I will go for the M44s. Really hear the quality of the mic and the balance between elements and frequencies sounds more in place to me than if it comes to the NT5s. So let's move over to the kick drum. And I will compare this kick mic to the mics that I have. The D112 and the 602 from Sennheiser. Let's start with the Milab mic. I've used the same position for all these mics. And this is the kick-in mic from Milab, which is a condenser mic. And let's move over to the D112. And the 602. So as we know, the D112 is a mid-range focused kick mic. The Sennheiser is a really scoop microphone, has a lot of low end and that clicky sound that you want if it comes to hard rock, metal and that kind of drum sounds. And the Milab, first impression, I almost want to say that it is a blend between the D112 and the Sennheiser, because it has that mid-range quality to it, but also that clicky sound of the Sennheiser. But I do miss some low end. So if I'm going to use this mic, then I will definitely add a kick out or a sub kick. And that's what I did over here. So let's have a listen to the Milab mic and then add the sub kick to it. And then you will know what I mean. And that's what I miss. If it comes to the 602, that microphone already has that low end quality to it. And the D112 definitely needs a sub kick. But my opinion about the Milab kick mic, again, it feels high end. It has a lot of detail. And I think it's an all-rounder. And to my feeling, the D112 and the Sennheiser are more flavors. And this one sounds more like an all-rounder that you can use in all kinds of music. Let's move over to the room mics. And let's start with the VIP-60. And I did the same thing like I did with the overhead mics. I've recorded different polar patterns. And let's start with the omnidirectional and with the full drum mix. Here we go. I will turn it up a little bit more so we can hear what it is doing. Let's put it on solo. I really love this mic on drum rooms because it's a really dark sounding microphone. And now it's on omnidirectional, so we have a lot of reflections. But this microphone also has a nice push in the low mids, where like, yeah, the chest area of the kick lives in and the floor tom. So let's move over to the cardioid. less reflections, of course, but more that low mid push, which is really nice, and still a dark sounding microphone. So that will help you with the cymbals in the mix. Let's check out the white cardioid. Same thing as with the cardioid, but now let's compare the cardioid with the white cardioid and let's see what the differences are. So this is white cardioid. Okay, focus on the kick drum. And what I hear is that the cardioid has this kind of shape and has this little thing in the back. I don't know what the name is for that shape, but the cardioid is flat in the back. So the difference is this and this. And that's exactly what you hear. The white cardioid has more a thump, a more pushed low mid, and as soon as I switch to the cardioid, that becomes less. It's subtle, but I think in a mix that just can add that little extra that you maybe need. So it's nice to have that option on the microphone. Let's compare the Omni with the cardioid and with the white cardioid. So let's start with the omnidirectional. Of course, more reflections if it comes to the omnidirectional setting, but overall the VIP-60 on Rune mics, I love it. Really good microphone, and I love all these options that you have because you have like all kinds of microphones in one microphone. Let's move over to the MS microphone. So what I did, of course, and I already talked about it in the beginning of the video, I recorded this microphone, and you have two signals in a stereo file, and then you have to split it into mono, duplicate the figure 8 signal, and then put one out of phase and then one hard right, one hard left. And that's what you see over here. So we have the left side, right side, and this is the cardioid microphone. And let's play around with the stereo field. So let's have a listen to this microphone in the whole drum mix. And I will turn it up a little bit so we can hear what it is doing. I really love this microphone. It's smooth, it's full, it's warm, and it's detailed. I think this is everything you need if it comes to a drum room mic, besides a really epic drum room mic. But this is, I've placed this like, what is it? 2.5, 3 meters from the drum kit. And let's put it on solo and let's have a listen to it. And I will play with the stereo field so you can hear what that is doing together with the cardioid microphone. And back in the whole drum mix. I love it. So far, this is my favorite. So that's it if it comes to the drum recordings. And now let's move over to the guitarras. I got myself a really nice coffee. Cheers. And let's start again with the DC-196, a stereo pair in cardioid. And I've only recorded everything in cardioid if it comes to the guitars. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long video. It's a disclaimer, I'm not a guitar player, so you know. Again, I really like this microphone. So what I did, I've used an ORTF stereo mic technique to record this guitar. And the reasons why I like this microphone are the same as with the overheads, because I hear detail, I like the balance if it comes to frequencies, and it's also transparent. And if you're gonna play around with the polar patterns, then you can get all kinds of acoustic guitar recordings that will fit your production. Let's move over to the VM44, also in cardioid, and then compare that with the DC-196. Let's move over to some chords, some strumming. There's way more low end in the DC-196 recording. It also depends how you place the mics, but you can cut it off, you can place the mics in a different position and capture less low end. But the VM44 sounds maybe more mixed already. You don't have to add top end and to cut low end. I lean more towards the DC-196s than to the VM44s. Let's move over to the MS-HCL, which is the Pearl microphone. And let's play around with the stereo field again. Let's have a listen. This is just one microphone that you hear and it fills up the whole stereo image. And to me, this is one of the ways how you want to hear an acoustic guitar recording. And what I also like about the whole MS thing is that you can play around with the stereo field. That's the whole point, of course. It's warm, it's clean. I think the DC-196s are more transparent. And now we are on it. Let's compare the MS mic with the 44s and the 196s. Now I'm comparing these three mics. I get a totally different vibe from the VM44s. So let's listen to the strumming part. There's just more attitude in this microphone. It's a taste thing, but it's also when do you use what? You know, are you recording a pop song, rock song, a singer-songwriting song? And what I will do if I hear this, I will use the MS-ATL or the DC-196 if it comes to singer-songwriter productions, when everything has to sound more detailed, like a Ben Howard kind of song. When you need like a round, full, warm kind of guitar recording, then I will use these mics. If it comes to pop or rock, for instance a Daughtry track or the band Camino, then I will go for the VM44s or maybe the MS-ATL. But it depends of the song, of course. So if it's a ballad, a rock ballad, maybe I go for the MS-ATL. But when it's like a pop rock song, full band, then maybe I will go for the VM44s. And let's move over to the VIP-60. And this one I recorded in cardioid, wide cardioid, hypercardioid, figure 8 and omnidirectional. And what I will do, I will start with the cardioid, and while play back the audio, I will switch between the different polar patterns. Okay, to my taste, this microphone is way too dark for acoustic guitars. And also listen to the differences if it comes to frequency response between the polar patterns. There's so much difference. Some of the polar patterns tend to have more detail and more high end, which gives that detail. And some are sounding way darker. This is the cardioid. Wide cardioid. There's like a blanket on the microphone. And then let's move over to the hypercardioid. And that one has way more detail and high end. And let's move over to the figure 8. And that one also sounds there's like something on the microphone. And the omnidirectional, I don't know, I don't feel that like it on the acoustic guitar. So let's go back to the cardioid. And I can tell you, I've used the same pick, same preamp, same guitar, same position. So this is the difference between polar patterns. I don't know what to think about this on acoustic guitar. I really love this mic on drum rooms, but no, it's not doing it for me on acoustic guitar. Now we have covered all these mics on the guitar. Let's compare them, and I will pick the hypercardioid from the VIP-60 and compare that with the other mics. The only thing is this is a mono recording and the rest is stereo. Let's start with the VIP and then I will switch to the others. MS. And VM44. Maybe it's because of the VIP-60, but this one now sounds way too mid-focused, way too bright. And let's go to the DC-196. Let's go back to the hypercardioid of the VIP. Yeah, it's so dark. And last but not least, let's listen to some guitar strumming. And the MS microphone. And VM44. I do have to say the VM44 is handling the low mid really nice. And last but not least, the DC-196. Yeah, the VIP-60 on guitar, acoustic guitar, it's not doing it for me. So that's it. And let's move over to some vocal recordings that I did with Sila. So here we are in the other Pro Tools session, and in this session I've recorded the vocals for Sila, which is an artist that I'm producing at the moment. You have to check them out on Spotify. They have already released one single, No Way. Check that out. And there's more coming up real soon. And these are the vocal recordings for that, or one song. I'm not gonna show you guys all the other tracks. But what I will show you is how we compared the DC-196 with the VIP-60. So what I did, I put up these microphones and we checked out which microphone worked for her voice. And we tried all kinds of polar patterns on the VIP-60 and the DC-196. And I will talk you through how we started and how we came to the point that we made a decision and that we were like, okay, this is it. This one is going to work for what we do. And to me, it surprised me because Eric from Milab said to me, try the DC-196 on vocal. As you see the mic, it's a small microphone and you're like, okay, this is a microphone that you will use for overheads or orchestra and guitar, but not on vocal. But it sounds really wide, he told me. So I was like, okay, let's try it and let's see what happens. And I thought, because I like a wide sounding recording, and I thought that is going to be the mic that we're going to use for Sila. But it turned out different, so let's see. Over here I have the VIP-60 in cardioid, and that's the first setting and the first microphone that we tried on her voice. So what I will do, I will play the guide together with her vocal, and then I will walk you through the whole process, our mic shootout. And for the record, these are not official vocal recordings. We are just testing out microphones. So these vocals are not tuned, and this is not the final performance. So let's have a listen to it.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes. I hate it 'cause my thoughts get loud, echoing against the wall.
My thoughts after hearing the cardioid on her voice, I was like, okay, it sounds too dark. This is not what we are looking for. Then we switched over to the DC-196. We recorded that one in cardioid, which is this one.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes. I hate it 'cause my thoughts get loud, echoing against the wall.
We were like, okay, this sounds way more open and maybe this is it. But the thing is, with cardioid and vocals, you got that proximity effect to deal with the P's and the B's. So I'm a fan of recording vocals in omnidirectional because the microphone can handle the air pressure better. I was like, okay, the cardioid on the DC-196 sounds open, crisp. But before we're gonna record everything, I want to check out the other color patterns on the VIP-60. Although the microphone is a really dark microphone, I want to check it out. And so then we went over to the white cardioid on the VIP-60.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes.
Compare with the cardioid on the VIP-60.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes.
Listen to the sound image. So this is the cardioid on the VIP-60.
I hate it when the sun goes down.
And the white cardioid. For some reason I called it special cardioid.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go.
And that compared with the cardioid on the DC-196.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the light.
The DC-196 sounds louder, is louder, but the white cardioid tends to have a certain attitude that I like.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate.
Reacts in the low mid on her voice, and I like that. Then I was like, okay, let's move over to Omni. So I skipped the figure 8, which sometimes work, but most of the time the omnidirectional is the way to go if it comes to vocals. Then I move over to the omnidirectional on the VIP-60 and on the DC-196. So let's compare these two. Let's start with the DC-196.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes. I hate it cause
And at that point I was like, okay, it's not doing that thing for me that I'm looking for. So let's move over to the omnidirectional on the VIP.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes. I hate it cause my thoughts get loud.
And after listening back to the Omni recording with the VIP-60, we both were like, this is it, like a fit for a voice. And maybe it's a darker mic than the DC-196, but it just worked at that moment. So let's have a listen to these three color patterns back to back, and starting with the cardioid.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes. I hate it cause my thoughts get loud, echoing against the walls, and I try to turn it down. Isn't there a melody to drain it out?
So do you hear what happens if it comes to the audio image? There's something happening with how the mic reacts on her voice, and it has a certain depth to it, and it connects more with the piano in this case. And that's what also happened in the other tracks, where we have like a full band, drums, bass, synths, percussion. So let's compare the omnidirectional of the VIP-60 with the DC-196.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes.
DC-196.
I hate it when the sun goes down. I hate it when the lights go out and the stillness comes.
It's brighter. It pokes out way more than the VIP-60, but it doesn't have that connection that is going on with the VIP-60. But that's why we chose for the VIP-60 in omnidirectional. So that's it if it comes to the vocal recordings, and that's it if it comes to my Milab and Pearl mic review. I really hope that you guys like this video, that you have a good impression of the microphones. But I have to say, I found it really hard to make a review about microphones. So in the beginning I was like, how am I going to do this? And I hope that this gives you a good image of how these mics sound, what the differences are, and what they are doing in compare with the mics that we already know, like the D112s and the NT5s. Of course, it's not the same price range, but hopefully after hearing this, you have an idea what these mics can do for you. To me, bottom line about all these mics, the VIP-60, really nice microphone. I like it, especially on drum room recordings and on vocal, but not on every vocal, I think. It's not an all-round microphone, but it's a microphone with a lot of bells and whistles which I like because you get more microphones in one microphone. So you have a lot of options. Then the VM44, another great microphone, but maybe too hyped if it comes to the high end and the mids. And it's more like a flavor that you choose to use in a certain kind of production. So I'm not sure if I will buy these mics. The mic that I will buy at some point is the MS-HCL. Love that microphone, and it's really detailed. It's also warm, and that's a microphone which, in my opinion, is a different microphone in compare with all the other mics that we see on a daily basis. Then we have the DC-196s, of course. Also really like that one. That's an all-rounder. So that's also a stereo pair that I would love to have in my mic collection. It's a great microphone. It sounds high-end, it sounds detailed, and then I think a stereo pair of these Milabs, the DC-196s, is a great investment because you can make all kinds of recordings with them. And then last but not least, the Milab kick drum mic, which is a condenser mic. Again, another all-rounder, but I do miss that low end, that sub area. I do recommend to use a kick out, a sub kick or a condenser on the kick out. In the future, I will buy this microphone and add that to my mic collection, because with the online drum recording service, I want to offer all kinds of flavors and all kinds of options. So whatever music style I get to record, I can deliver it. I think this is it if it comes to my mic review about these microphones. It took way more time than I thought, but I hope you guys like this video. And again, you can get 10% discount on these microphones if you go to this link below in the description, or if you scan this QR code. Hopefully you will find a microphone that you were looking for. And hopefully my thoughts, my opinion works for you to make a decision. So have a nice day, have some fun making music, and hope to see you guys soon.